TheorySabers.com.
All right, dude. Should we do Rey?
Sure.
So, from what I understand, there are reports coming out of Lucasfilm that indicate that Rey is the most valued character, I think is the term that they used in the article, and that she will be the cornerstone of Star Wars moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's a major mistake.
I just don't know how they came to that conclusion is the thing. I don't know how they came to the conclusion that Rey was somehow their most valuable asset. I think that the most valuable Star Wars character asset is always going to be Anakin Vader. But
well, yeah, and they could have created someone that was a little more compelling or had, better character arc, but I think doubling down on Rey and thinking that she is the poster boy of Star Wars now, I think is the biggest mistake that they could possibly do.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on them saying that they believe that Star Wars is a franchise based purely out of nostalgia? I think that that's just a gross misunderstanding of what George Lucas made and what all the creatives did after the original story. I think that really delegitimizes a lot of the work that these writers and people put into fleshing out Legends characters and fleshing out the Legends storyline. And I think to say that it's purely based on nostalgia is a really accurate thing to say based off of what Lucasfilm has been making for us. But Star Wars is not a nostalgia franchise. I don't believe that.
No, I actually recorded a video the other night, and I'll probably release it on the weekend, of how Disney can bring Star Wars back to what it was and how they've gone wrong. And I point out exactly how they strayed away from George's stuff by comparing it to the first 6 films. And you can clearly see that there's a vast difference in the storytelling of the characters and everything overall in general, in terms of the themes and how they kind of view the Force as some sort of like just thing that they can use, instead of the Force being this like actual mystical agent that we don't know much about. Whereas Rey is just all about kind of like, okay, well, how do I develop powers? Well, she doesn't really have to do anything. She just kind of thinks about it and she does it. I mean, the whole idea of her FaceTiming Kylo Ren with the Force, and then in the book it explains that she then learned all of his abilities just from that. I mean, how lazy can you get?
That's just bad writing. That's just one example of the bad writing in the sequel trilogy. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who comes back and fixes it in a book. It's not good. The whole hyperspace Holdo thing, that's been beaten to death, but it is bad writing.
Yeah, well, it's horrible. But I mean, that's what you have when you have people that don't understand Star Wars.
They think of Star Wars in terms of assets, which is the problem. They don't think in terms of large scale. They think they want Star Wars and Marvel to fit into the same box. That's at least what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's a cash. Look, Disney's a business at the end of the day. They want to make money, but the problem is they're so fixated on making money, they don't actually know how to tell the essence of what Star Wars really is. And it's so much more than just Marvel or whatever. And that's no shade to Marvel, but look, Star Wars is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And they have to realize that. And they have people that know how to do it properly, like Stuart Beattie. And, I think Jon Favreau has a good grasp of it. I think Dave Filoni does understand what George wanted to do. But, like I said recently, my trust in Dave Filoni has been shaken just because of the decisions he's made or allowed to happen with the Acolyte, which is the most god-awful thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'll never, ever feel any other way about it. I think it is the biggest disrespect to fans. I think anyone who likes it, not by itself, but as a continuation or connected to Star Wars, I don't think that they truly, really understand what George was going for.